Aloha kako, and welcome to School Peace Gardens, Growing Plants, Growing People, Growing Peace. My name is Debbie Milliken, and along with William Colton, the coordinator of Hawaii School Peace Gardens, we welcome you. In today's session, you will hear from educators and youth from across the state of Hawaii about what it means to have a peace garden on your school campus and how a peace garden supports student learning. We will also dive deep into one case study shared by Maui Farm to School Network coordinator Scott Lacasse. Scott will review the design and production of the Montessori School of Maui's Peace Garden from start to finish. You'll also hear about the various types of elements that can help define a space dedicated to peace. And one message you will hear is that in any safe space can be a peace garden. As for the importance of a school peace garden, we know the social and emotional benefits to children are great. Listen close as you hear from a young student and her journey finding peace in the garden, and from adult educators who watch firsthand how critical it is for students' social and emotional learning to feel safe in the learning environment. Come along with us on this journey as we explore Hawaii's school peace garden movement. To begin with, Amanda Ryu of Mala'ai on Hawaii Island is going to share basically a protocol that we often use in our gardens to center our students, to bring in their calm and peaceful mind as we begin our day of learning.
Take a deep breath. You may choose to close your eyes. Notice that we have plenty of time. I invite you now to bring your attention into your immediate environment. As you do that, look for things in your environment that bring you peace, that make you feel connected. Do you notice things around you that reflect your values? Do you find yourself safe in this environment? I invite you now to take another deep breath. Check in with yourself. How does it feel to be you here today? I invite you also to think about what you do to create peace, because peace is not a non-action, peace is an action. It's not just the absence of strife. What are things that you can do to create peace in your immediate environment? I invite you to take another deep breath. Thank you for spending this time in this constructive way to try to move our ideas of peace forward.
All gardens are peace gardens because when they're grown with the intention of love, when you plant a seed of love, then peace will grow, you know.
We envisioned peace gardens as not just a physical place on one campus, but ways to connect a responsibility and relationship from P to 20. And
so one of the important things is the physical environment. And what you can see in this picture is you do see the kids walking through the garden, and you can see that there's places where there's shade, there's benches. It's not super visible in this picture, but there are some Aloha Aina flags. One of the things we can do that's really important for creating a context of safety and a context of peace is providing a place in a garden for people to be. And as soon as you put in a bench or a place with shade or a place that's protected from the wind, people will naturally congregate there. And so that's a big important part of it. Could you go to the next slide? Here you can see our students with a little rainbow in the background doing that 2-minute kilo. I really love to do that outside, and that is the physical environment lends itself to kids having extra space. And right now, as we're looking at getting back to school in COVID times, that's something really important to think about, which is that our gardens are physically a safe space. We can't be at peace if we don't feel physically safe. We can't learn if we don't feel physically safe. And if we feel endangered, our fight or flight responses automatically kick in to keep us safe. And so first thing is creating a safe context. So you can see the kids and the teacher in the red t-shirt off to the left doing their 2 minutes. So that same kind of guided kilo outside during their opening of the garden. So that's one kind of example of physical safety, and also a little bit of protocol. Another thing that I think is really cultivates peace in the garden is making places for the kids' voice to show. So that idea of student voice. And when we did this dedication, we did Aloha Aina flags. This is the third time in the course of the garden that we did it. It's so important for them to see themselves reflected in the garden. And so this is one of the ways. Another important part to this, a labyrinth, is just that the environment really reflects the core values of your garden. And every garden is there for a slightly different purpose. It has a maybe different person running it. These are the core values of Mala'ai on the left, and also Pa'ahana, which I love that Scott mentioned it. It means hard, industrious work. Our garden is not quiet. It doesn't have to be a quiet sort of Zen space. It's a happy, loud, productive, messy place. And that is peaceful because our kids are safe in that environment. Another really important part of creating a peace garden and a safe space is having routine and protocol. And if you have a routine in your garden, it really gives your kids something to rely on and to expect. And it kind of creates safety within structure. There's freedom within that structure. They know what's going to happen. This protocol creates a place of safety, a place of peace, hopefully a place of happiness. And just again, appealing to that idea of fostering wonder and belonging in our students. And they don't have to be a giant garden. They can be a bench. They can be potted gardens around the door to your classroom. They're just a place that your students know that they are safe and that they can come and rest.
Aloha, this is Scott Lacasse, the Maui Farm to School Network Program Manager. Today I'm going to share a Peace Garden project with you that took place between 2013 and 2019 at the Montessori School of Maui. In 2013, Rena Beal, a parent and visionary donor, approached the school and pitched the idea of constructing a tolerance garden on the school's campus. Her parents had both been Holocaust survivors and had dedicated themselves to memorializing those who lost their lives during that tragic period in history. While her father focused on honoring their family's memory, Rena's mother, Lily, wanted to commemorate the children who perished. After her mother passed, Rena vowed to continue those efforts and create a safe space on the Montessori campus for children to work through their differences and celebrate gender, racial, and religious diversity. The school's faculty warmly embraced the concept, and the design process for the newly envisioned Peace Garden began in earnest during the spring of 2014. Designing and building a garden can be a bit of a messy process, but basically there's 4 phases of a design-build project. The first phase is looking at program development. The second one is site inventory and analysis. We're going to move on to the concept plan, and finally construction. Program development is an essential design phase that establishes the goals and objectives that drive the overall design. As you move through these different stages of the program development, a lot of information is going to start to help shape what the program is going to look like, and program truly does drive the design, and the design also drives the program. For the site inventory and analysis phase, you can use an existing site survey as a base plan, or you can measure off your own. You're going to be identifying trees, lot boundaries, buildings, utilities, and all of those will really shape your design. Other elements that are really important to consider are views. Are they good? Are they bad? Noise. Is there any offensive noise? Is there good noise? You want to take advantage of those different situations or block them if necessary. Once you've analyzed the site, it's time to make some design decisions. And the concept plan, in all of its iterations and its evolutions, is essentially the embodiment of the graphic thinking that you do. And it leverages the process of visualization to create a document that's going to communicate your design ideas and serve as the basis for the design, build, or construction phase. And the next phase is where your two-dimensional concept comes to life. And the first step in that is clearing and grubbing. The site at the Montessori School of Maui was originally the green waste site. So the first thing we needed to do was to remove all of that old vegetation in order to make way for the equipment so that we could start doing the earthwork, the grading, the drainage, and the hardscape. Planting and irrigation are the next steps. And throughout all of these different steps, it's really important to make use of what you have available, leverage your volunteers, and engage the students to create a strong sense of ownership. The author Michael Pollan said it best when he stated that nature abhors a garden. And it's true, they're living spaces that are under constant assault and must continuously be maintained and cared for. Fortunately, there's some good strategies to help you maintain your garden. One of the ones that is really successful is if you establish a student-led peace garden committee. And this really engages them to take ownership of that space. You can leverage their energy and integrate the care of garden with curriculum objectives. And then you can also form basically a scaffolded mentorship program where the students teach lower levels how to care for the living space so that it may be maintained across graduating classes. These gardens offer an incredible opportunity for project-based learning. You can always add more elements to the garden as you go along. It doesn't have to be built in a day. The majority of the plants were started from seed by the students, so plant propagation is an excellent opportunity. The stepping stones that you see here are a rite of passage for the middle school students. So each graduating class of 8th graders spends the last 4 months or so creating their stepping stone. And then at graduation, they install the stepping stone in the path in the Peace Garden, with the objective being that there will eventually be stepping stones all the way to the upper circle. Creating peace gardens, or any other kind of garden for that matter, requires vision, buy-in, perseverance, care, and continual support from all stakeholders. When done well, they are the perfect embodiment of the effort and commitment necessary to achieve any form of transformative change at multiple scales. These gardens create the space to develop mentorship, collaboration, communication, and awareness of one's connection to the earth and all other living beings. In turn, these ideals support the values and practices that are essential to empowering our youth to achieve a more unified and equitable society at every scale.
On my experience in school gardens and how school gardens have played or gardens in general, especially school gardens, have played such a huge role in my connection to nature and in my life. I had felt really uncomfortable, inside myself on this earth. Felt like I didn't belong in my human body. I definitely connected more to the plants than I did with anyone else in this world. And at school, well, that was a huge challenge for me because I felt like I really wasn't understanding what I was learning. A lot of things, many of the things that we were learning, I felt didn't resonate with me, my core values. It didn't resonate with what was happening today. And in this like modern world of craziness, like I had no idea what was going on. And I didn't feel safe. And that didn't allow me to be myself. The only place where I felt some sort of peace was in the garden. And
I'd start with a story just to highlight how important I think peace gardens or school gardens have been in my life and can be for other people's lives. So one of my earliest memories, I was about 5 years old, probably I guess kindergarten, and I was told by my parents that I kind of struggled at that age. I was really quiet, really, really shy, um, a little behind in learning how to read and do math. I didn't have much confidence. And I actually remember thinking at my kindergarten awards ceremony at my school, like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get any award. Like I'm such a loser. Like they're not gonna give me an award. Little did I know, like everyone was getting an award. But I remember thinking that, and my parents were there, and I was thinking they're gonna be so disappointed in me. And I saw my peers getting awards like best reader and best helper and best at math. And then it came to my turn, and my teacher said something along the lines of, now we have a very special award for Scotty, best gardener. And she told everyone that, Scott, or Scotty as I was known back then, Scotty takes the best care of our garden. Out of all the students, he is the best at gardening, and he's the most caring to these plants. And I remember thinking like, wow, what an honor. Like, she's right. I am the best gardener. And that's like the best award you can get. And at some point in the next years, I learned how to read and started talking to other people. And I like to say that I kind of blossomed somewhere between age 5 and age 31.
When I was in the garden, I could feel like myself. Just putting my bare feet into the dirt, I could really connect and truly see, I could see the light in a way that I hadn't before. And that connection to Mother Nature, as Amanda was saying, it's such a tangible thing for children to actually see that growth, to see that what I did, that by planting that seed, I made a difference. I grew food for my family. And the seed can be anything. Seeds are everything. Oh my gosh, people, listen to the cries of the Mother Earth. Like, give me time, and this is the Mother Earth speaking right now. Give me time and give me space to heal. And by allowing that, like, I am so resilient. Like, look what's happening. I have branched out. I have kind of stepped into, like, she is finding balance again. And I feel like that's what we need to do as a people. We need to stand together in our power and in our peace and allow the Mother Earth to be resilient within herself. Not just take. It's time to give back. And Peace Gardens is like the foundation of all of that for me. That's where it has come from. That is the inspiration, and it's coming back to the root.